I want to pick back up with Republican Congressman from North Carolina, Greg Murphy. Congressman, thanks for being with us. Thanks for rolling with the breaking news here a little bit. I want to start with that Senate hearing today with former CDC Director Susan Minares, where she said she was asked to approve every recommendation from this vaccine panel, which now includes these Kennedy-appointed vaccine skeptics, regardless of the scientific evidence. Based on what we heard today from the Senate side, do you believe her ouster was justified?
You know, I think, Garrett, what we're seeing here is an employee got fired and a boss that fired her. And what the truth is really remains to be seen. What we're seeing, you know, and what RFK has brought, he's brought a healthy disruption to what's happened in medicine, long time overdue. Whether I agree 100% with what RFK are saying is almost irrelevant. What you do as an executive of a department is you have the ability to take care, fire, hire individuals you feel fit with the plan. And that's what he's done. Whether it was justified or not, I have to leave that up to him.
Well, I mean, you're a medical doctor as well. You know, I mean, the CDC, they're not making widgets. I mean, they're making recommendations that are important to the rest of the country. Would you be comfortable making the kind of decision that Dr. Minares described, setting aside the science to follow the, decision of your boss?
Yeah, Garrett, but what you saw with the CDC during the last administration, you saw them telling that 6 months old needed to be COVID or vaccinated for COVID, which is absolutely and ridiculously medically not necessary. So you saw many things where you pushed a vaccine where it also defied really what was ever done for vaccines before. There was always for at-risk populations. So you've seen populations within the CDC that have defied scientific knowledge and scientific law, as it were. And so, we all know where RFK is on vaccines. We've pushed back some on some of this stuff. But no, you can't say that the CDC is an almighty pure institution, or has been. There have been problems with the CDC, as we saw during the last administration.
I want to play something that Dr. Ori, the former chief medical officer of the CDC, said in that hearing today. Let's listen.
I resigned because CDC leaders were reduced to rubber stamps, supporting policies not based in science and putting American lives at risk. Secretary Kennedy censored CDC science, politicized its processes, and stripped leaders of independence.
I wonder what you make of that and your ability to trust the recommendations that come out of this HHS. And to your point about what was going on in COVID, I wonder, do you have a theory here on how you can restore trust in the CDC to people who, especially the people who are sort of not wearing the jersey of the party in power at the moment?
Sure. And, wouldn't it be wonderful to not wear any jersey when it's talking about science, when you're talking about health care? This is what one of the real things, just as a physician of 35 years, really troubles me so, is how much politics has polluted medicine, be it in education or in science itself. We saw during the CDC had to backtrack its data talking about infant or childhood mortality. There was 3 times less than what the CDC said. So, is this scientist really, saying back what RFK said to her? I don't know. And, only honestly they know. But I think what I do know is I want the American institution, the CDC, the NIH, all those institutions, really to regain the trust of America. And that only comes through non-political, healthy debate. And sadly, I don't know how we get there with the media pushing so many political narratives. I don't know how we get there, but we have to get there through some type of vigorous debate.
Well, there's certainly going to be a lot of scrutiny on that vaccine advisory panel tomorrow. I can tell you that for sure. We could do a whole lot more on this, but I want to get you on the record on a couple of other topics. Obviously, government funding. We're coming up against the end of the current funding. House Republicans released the text of this 7-week continuing resolution. Have you had an opportunity to review that, and are you prepared to vote for it?
Yeah, it's pretty clean, CR. There's some things in there. I wish there was some stuff I'm trying. I've been a medical missionary in Haiti. I wish we had been able to extend some of the things that goes on with Haiti with some of the ways we help the economy there. I think we'll be able to get to it soon enough. But I think we need to move. We have to fund the government. Good Lord, look at what's happened in western North Carolina with hurricane Helene relief. We need to get there. The opposition in the Senate needs to go away and understand that their duty is that to the country and not to a party.
Well, Democrats have really centered in on now this Affordable Care Act subsidies set to expire at the end of this year. Yeah. They say that if these expire, people could see significant increases in their health care premiums. They want to see that as part of this discussion. Should the government funding bill ultimately extend those subsidies?
Well, I don't think we have time to do that by the time the government shuts down. I think we really need to look at what those subsidies did. We had 30 million people who never claimed one medical claim get put on the PTCs, the premium tax credits. We know that those people had checks sent directly in their name to insurance companies. So there was a huge amount of fraud. We also saw that individuals up to $400,000 or more were receiving credits on their taxes for this. So this is nonsense. We need to go back to see what this was. This was a COVID era supplementation. Why it needs to continue really needs to be debated. I don't believe it needs to be a clean reauthorization. I think we need to get rid of the fraud, and some people may need to go to jail who enrolled some of these fraudulent people. But I think we need some time really to look at that and put thoughtful debate. We're not going to be able to get that done by the time a CR needs to be done.
And if you have constituents whose health care costs go up without it, what do you tell them?
Yeah, we tell them that the health care costs are going to go up just for insurance premiums. You look at who the real people who gain the most through all of these subsidies, from the ACA through the PTCs, they're insurance company profits. So don't tell me that the insurance companies are raising premiums because they want to continue coverage. They want to continue their profits, period.
I want to ask you about one other part of this. You're a member of the House Administration Committee. You have jurisdiction over security on Capitol Hill. Yeah. What can you tell us about the discussions to provide lawmakers with some kind of enhanced security in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination? I mean, I covered Congress for almost a decade. This was always sort of part of the conversation, but it is really front of mind right now.
Yeah, it is front of mind. And, many members of Congress really receive, honestly, daily death threats. And you talk to the Sergeant Arms, you talk to the Capitol Police, and the meteoric rise in the number of threats to a member of Congress. We're out there. We're with the people. We're, quote, easy targets. There needs to be something done to take away some of the insanity that's going on in the world, attacking representatives using violence as a way for voting. There are a lot of members concerned. A lot of members even talk about not coming back, not wanting to put themselves or their families through this. We need some rational safety security concerns for those members who are willing to serve the nation.
I mean, is that a problem that can be solved with giving every member a detail and more money to protect their house, or is that a bigger problem?
Well, it's a problem from society. It's a problem of media. It's social media that says violence is okay. Good Lord, you look at college campuses where up to two-thirds of say violence is okay for when you go against someone of a differing opinion. I don't know that there's enough money really to make a detail for every member of Congress, but we definitely have to do something for security for members.
On the idea of going after, the sort of the current political environment, we were talking a little bit about this with our panel. I don't know if you're able to listen in on any of that conversation.
Yeah, a little bit
the idea of the White House trying to investigate voices on the left that they think are perhaps inciting violence or engaging in hate speech, a concept that, as you well know, many conservatives, didn't particularly acknowledge until recent weeks. What do you make of that effort by the White House, and is it something you'd support to see some of these liberal groups investigated?
Well, I think anybody that incites violence, I don't care what political...
that's where the line is?
Yeah, I think you incite violence. You had Maxine Waters going and telling people to be violent, go out and confront people. You had Biden to put a bullseye on Trump. These things incite violence. There's a difference between that, and hate speech per se. But anytime you incite violence, I don't care what political party you belong to or what group you belong to, you cross the line when you incite violence. I don't care who you are. I think that bears investigation.
All right, Congressman Greg Murphy, we were able to get a lot in and not a lot of time. Thank you for being with us and for sticking around. We'll be back tomorrow with more.